Hi, and welcome to the Steinar Show, the show about rocks. Today we're going to have visits from rock stars Roxanne and Rockissa, and we're going to hear from our reporters in Drammen city. But first, a little bit about rocks. Now, what is a rock? They are very tiny grains of different minerals compressed together in chemical reactions to form a bigger mass. Rocks make up naturally the non-water part of the Earth's crust, and the rocks come in all shapes and sizes. Now, what is a rock? They are very tiny grains of different minerals compressed together in chemical reactions to form a bigger mass. Rocks make up naturally the non-water part of the Earth's crust, and the rocks come in all shapes and sizes. Now, let's introduce our guests for today, rock stars Roxanne and Rockissa.
Thank you for inviting us.
Oh, my pleasure.
Hello, thank you for
Very nice to have you here. So, girls, you two are rock stars. You obviously must know a lot about rocks. So let's test your skills in geology. Rockissa, can you explain to me what a igneous rock is?
What? Indigenous? Does it have something to do with India?
No, igneous rock is formed when lava cools very fast. And you, Roxanne, can you tell me something about metamorphic rock?
Wait, I know that one. Is that something with wolves?
No, that's metamorphosis and werewolves. Metamorphic
Nice.
rock is when igneous rock or sediment rock changes to metamorphic rock by heat and pressure. But since you two don't know very much about rocks, let's talk with our geologist and rock expert, Rocky Balboa.
It's geologist Rocky here to explain a bit about igneous rocks. Now, the rock stars didn't seem to know that much about igneous rocks, so I'm here to tell some few facts. Now, the igneous rocks is formed when magma or lava cools down and turns into rock. Now, there's two kinds of igneous rock. It's the slowly cooled and it's the fast cooled. Now, the slowly cooled is made when the magma slowly cools and then turns into stones like granite. However, if it's a volcanic eruption and the magma comes out of the volcano and turns into lava, the lava cools much faster, which will create other kinds of rock, like, for example, obsidian or lava rock. Now, the next rock I'm going to talk about is the sedimentary rock. The sedimentary rock is created by 4 stages. The first stage is that eroded sediments end up in the water and begin to settle. So small stones and stuff like that go in the water and then follow the water until they kind of stop. And the second step is, with time, more layers pile up and presses down the lower layers. So there comes more and more small rocks in the water, which then goes to the bottom and then make layers. Third, more layers and further compaction forces out water of the layers. So it forces out the water and the water kind of disappears, and it's created more layers of all these small stones that then are pressured together. And lastly, salt crystals glue the layers together, and then the rock mass is sedimentary, so the sedimentary rock is created. Now, the third rock I'm going to talk about, and the last one, is the metamorphic rock. Now, the metamorphic rock is the least common of the 3 types. Metamorphic rock is created when igneous and sedimentary rocks are being transformed under extreme heat and pressure to these metamorphic rocks. Now, with time, extreme pressure and heat causes some chemical changes to our core underground and are transforming the original rocks into metamorphic rocks.
Brilliant talk, Rocky. Now girls, that you refreshed your geology memories, perhaps you can tell me something about weathering.
So, is it about weather?
Well, you're almost right. Actually, let's hear from a professional, because now let's check in with Professor Denisa.
Granite is the best known igneous rock found at the Earth's surface, and it is also made for the things we encounter every day. For example, it is used for floor tiles, countertops, or paving stones, and it is also used in buildings as we see here, in sculptures. It is hard enough to resist most abrasion. It is also strong enough to bear significant weight, and it resists weathering. It also accepts a brilliant polish, which, if you put it all in the equation, it gives a very brilliant rock.
Now girls, I know you like some form of arts, like music, of course you are indeed rock stars, but how do you feel about sculptures and statues?
We like that too. Yeah.
How coincidental, because I have some statues from our favorite city, Drammen, for you today. Let's hear with our reporters in Drammen.
So it's a sled relief. These figures, which look like kind of rock carvings in slide, are made by Miles McLennan in 1986. So slide is a fine-grained foliated metamorphic rock that's created by the alteration of shell or mudstone by low-grade regional metamorphism. It's popular for a wide variety of uses such as roofing, flooring, and flagging because of its durability and attractive appearance. Sleds are mostly grey in color and is composed mainly of clay minerals or micas. They can also contain abundant quartz and small amounts of feldspar, calcite.
Now, you were almost right as you heard, but now let's learn about the rock cycle.
Wait, I know that. Isn't it something like a circle of rocks?
Well, almost. Actually, I have another professor to talk about rock-related subjects today. And we're going to hear with Professor Asan about the rock cycle.
The three main rock types are igneous, metamorphic, and sedimentary. The three processes that change one rock to another are crystallization, metamorphism, erosion, and sedimentation. Any rock can transform into another rock by passing through one or more of these processes. This covers the rock cycle. The rock cycle was actually a concept of James Hutton in the 18th century. So what happens that when the rocks are affected by weathering and erosion, they change into sediment. And when sediment is compacted and cemented, they change into sedimentary rock, for example, sandstone, limestone, and shale. And when the heat and pressure applies to sedimentary rock, they change into metamorphic rock, for example, quartzite and marble. And finally, metamorphic rock melts, it changes into magma. And finally, when the magma cools down, it changes into igneous rock, for example, basalt and granite.
Hey, it's geologist and Professor Rocky here again to tell you a bit about the weathering of the statues in Drammen. Now, most of the statues in Drammen are made by granite or slate, and these type of rocks don't really get affected by weathering in the short term. So if we talk about 100 years, the statues would look a lot like the same that they do now. However, if we go back to 2,000 years, the rocks will have changed a lot because it takes a lot of time for them to change because of weathering. An example is the Temple of Poseidon in Greece, which is 2,400 years old, or 45 years old, and is made by marble, which is a metamorphic rock, you can see that it takes a really long time for this to weather when it's 2,400 445 years old and it's still standing. Now the temple did actually have 44. We have to shut down the show. It's too few views. We're going. We don't have enough money.
Oh.
Cut the show. We have to
Does
leave.
that mean that we don't get paid?
It's not my fault.
It's not my fault either.
Hey, we need money!